Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. At this moment, we have almost 30,000 subscribers, and I hope you become one also if you're not already. So the topic here is really interesting. It is, why is my husband not romantic anymore? And I'm going to start by asking you a question. Did you get married for romance? I know it's a good part of your connection and the relationship that you have, and romance is great. But is that why you got married? You know, a lot of people ask about foreplay, how to do it and all that. And what I'm getting at here is that if your focus is on, how do I put this, on the physical aspects of marriage rather than why you got married, because the reason why you got married is actually no mystery, and it's not exclusive to you. You fell in love. We know that part. There's plenty of studies that reveal that that's why people get married. A lot of people get married just because it's the next step after dating. But there's a real deep reason why everyone gets married. And there's actually two. Number one, this is embarrassingly simple, is we get married to be happy. We don't get married to have a miserable life. We get married to be happy. And romance is part of that. And if your husband is not romantic anymore, we need to get at that. But the other reason is love. Love. Because what brings more joy to us than love? And what is love? We have to ask that question. Because a lot of times we mix it up. We mix up these words. And the reason we do, I think there's what you would call a dark force in the world, and it's sneaky as can be. And what it does is it takes really good ideas and it twists them just a little bit so that all of a sudden we're not on track at all. So we get married for love. Love is not romance. Romance can be contrived. You know, it doesn't have to be connected to love. Love is very different. And I'm not talking about shallow love. I love my dress. I love my car. I love in a way that is so overwhelming that my mind cannot keep up. And this is how you know when you're in that spiritual realm of love. And it is not romantic. But it could manifest into romance. But love manifests from you, the soul. You see, you're a soul. You're not a body. You're not the mind. You're not a bundle of emotions or thoughts or feelings. You're the soul. The soul is pure, unadulterated love, joy, and wisdom. Those are the attributes of you, the soul. And that is why you got married. And what happens is, because we're so mistaught in this world, we get into our daily routines. We get into our lives. And the thing that we did when we first were dating is what we should be doing now. It's not romance per se, but it's nurturing our individual devotion towards our spouse. In other words, if you were nurturing your love towards your husband, if you were building that soul connection, and it is a soul connection, and it operates at a level up here, not on the day-to-day. And if you were nurturing that, and building that, and pouring your love into your husband, into the marriage, then his response would be to go back to how he was when you were dating, which is romantic. Because if you're saying, where did it go? That means it used to be there. And that is his natural inclination. But because your marriage has become dulled by the day-to-day stuff, it isn't coming out. And I would say your marriage is slipping. Isn't it so? And a lot of people make excuses for that. They say, well, you mature in marriage, and it's different, and you have different feelings, you have different responsibilities, and you have to tend to different things. You have to take care of the children, you have to make sure you have enough money at the end of the month to pay the rent and the electric bill and a car payment. That's all true. But it should not interfere with living your marriage on the plane of love. And a lot of people ask, well, what should I do? What should I do? And it's a trick question, because then they're saying, what should I do to build this up? How do I, what manifestations do I create of my heart? And the truth is, your heart doesn't need guidance. You, the soul, when you're tapped into that, what comes out is natural. What you do, and this is so not taught in our world, so not taught, and it will be in the future. I'm confident of that, because we are evolving as human beings, and it's a natural thing for us to learn. You have to learn to master your mind. You see, in the world, we don't learn about this. We just think, at best, I have a soul, he has a soul, she has a soul, and I should regard them as souls. Oh, you should regard them as souls, and you should regard yourself as a soul, because the truth of the matter, and this is what I was talking about before, how the dark side twists things a little. You don't have a soul. No, you have a body, you have a mind, you are the soul. And there's a huge difference, because what it does when you see it in that way is you recognize that the mind should be objectively managed, mastered. It should not be operating solely on the basis of habits, of what it's used to doing. In fact, when people take our course, there's a course for men and a course for women. I'm not selling it. I'm merely describing that when they take that course, and that's for people whose marriages are, they're on the decline. The thing that we teach first is how to master your mind. Because until you master your mind, the clutter of the mind interferes with the manifesting soul. You see, you're supposed to enjoy the bliss of marriage. You are. You're supposed to be feeling love more today than you did yesterday, more tomorrow than you do today. And this is not just hyperbole, it's the truth. You're also supposed to be feeling happiness, constantly evolving, constantly growing. The term marital bliss is not this fake term made up by greeting card companies. It's a reality. The highest expression of ourselves as human beings is bliss consciousness, which is the joy of the soul manifesting. And marriage is the perfect vehicle within which to evolve to that point. It's a gift from God, and we're supposed to utilize it. We're not supposed to be struggling in our marriages. We're not supposed to be wondering what happened to my husband. He's not as romantic as he used to be. No, we're supposed to be pouring love and joy into our marriage on a constant basis. And by all means, avoid anything that takes away from that. The big thing in the world today is sarcasm, isn't it? You know, we see sitcoms on television, we watch good movies, and there's always a sarcastic guy or girl who's getting laughs. Funny. Not in your marriage, it's not funny. Sarcasm, teasing, these are not positive attributes. These are not positive things to do. And we do them because the mind has taken over our lives, when we should be from the soul, from the heart. Do you see? Remember, you got married for two reasons. Number one, to be happy. Number two, to experience and to learn how to love unconditionally. So you don't want to do anything that's going to take you away from those things. You want to put all of your attention on those things. Those should be the pole stars of your marital life. Should be the pole star for your individual life as well. So marriage is very different from any other venue. And at the Marriage Foundation, we teach marriage the way it's supposed to be. We don't go into the past. We don't look at problems. We look at redefining your marriage, as we just talked about, and then learning how to manifest it in that way. Does this make sense to you? I hope it does. And so you should like the video if it does. You could leave a comment if you appreciate this perspective, and you would be joining many other people who do, and I hope you do. Now, there's many people who have been following for some time, and they want to become a TMF counselor. We have clergy who are following us. We have marriage coaches. We have licensed therapists who would like to be TMF therapists, except we're not therapists, but we are counselors. So I'm starting to create a course for that. We're going to have it offered pretty soon on the website, and if you have an interest in it, stay tuned for it, or even let us know. You could just use the contact form on our website and say, I'm interested, let me know when it's there so I could look it over. Because the goal here that we have at the Marriage Foundation is not just to have this little tiny nook in the world of marriage counseling. No, I used to be a divorce mediator. I know what marriage counseling is really like out there, what traditional marriage counseling is like, and it doesn't work. And I mean it, it really doesn't work. Their true statistics are really terrible. They rarely help a marriage, rarely, and that makes sense. How can you help a marriage by talking about your childhood? That doesn't make sense. So I'm going to be training counselors. It's going to be a very extensive, very good program, because it took me many years to come up with all the principles and practices and philosophies and put it all together so that it works all the time. And we want to expand this now. We want to have thousands and thousands of TMF counselors out there who are meeting with people one-on-one. Maybe you'd like to be one of those. So again, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. I love it that you are watching this video. I hope that you do subscribe and that you watch many more, and let us know what you think. So God bless you and take care. Thank you.